staff is here. Welcome to Karnes County Commissioners Court for our regular meeting. Today is July 8th and 2025. We're here in the multi-purpose room over here at the annex. We do have a quorum present, so let's stand for a prayer. Real quick, if we could, just a moment of silence for the children, families, the workers, the elected officials that are dealing with the flooding that is in Kerr County, Tom Green County, up north, all of those counties up in the hill country, lives lost. And as believers, we know that Christ's plan is perfect, God's plan is perfect, even though we don't always understand it. And this one we don't understand, Lord. So, moment of silence, and then I'll say a prayer. Merciful Father, we lift our hands up to you in thanks, praise, and glory for the blessings to come this week. Protect us this week from all evil and misfortune. We pray you will forgive us of all our sins wherever we do wrong. Surround us this week with your Holy Spirit. Protect us with your outreached arms. You are our refuge and our Savior. Cover us this week with your goodness and encompass us with your mercy, that we will be safeguarded in the body and soul this week. In your name we pray, Lord. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Ms. Leal, do we have anyone signed up to speak this morning? None this morning. Then we will move to item number 6, acknowledge. I just wanted to bring this to attention to the court. I'm sure that the court probably does know this. I mentioned it at the last meeting. Due to legislative changes effective September 1st, 2025, all meetings must be posted 3 business days instead of the current 72 hours. This will cause current deadline requirements to be changed to the Monday at noon, 1 week before court, versus the current Tuesday deadline at noon. County Judge's Office sends out a courtesy reminder to all departments with such information, and so please adhere to the new deadline requirement. And to be in accordance with Open Meetings Act, I don't have the House bill in front of me. I'm going to bring it up in my office. But instead of where we post the agenda, like for Commissioner's Court, I will post it on Friday, and it gives us the weekend. Now we can't do that anymore. It's the business day, and so that will affect our deadline to get our agendas posted. So, any discussion, questions on that, Court? If not, item number 7, acknowledge the status update on county building current projects. I just wanted to, I've heard some talk out there about buildings and just questions on where we are on those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start down precinct 1, 2. I'll give an update on Cross Street and mention precinct 3 and 4. Mr. Beatrick, whenever he came on, he jumped on board with Casey and myself, although we do not meet together because I do not violate the Open Meetings Act. Commissioner Beatrick has stepped in and helped, been involved with the EMS facility, training facility that we're doing, and I know that he's working on some stuff around the annex. He's had some questions, and then some stuff with John Banks. And precinct 2, as far as the JP's office, I don't know much about that. I was helping with that, and Judge Kuzekwa, Constable Hans, and myself, and Commissioner Lissy, have had some meetings, and then there was a committee that was formed, and I'm not a part of that committee, so I'm not sure what's going on with the JP office. With the courthouse, I know that there have been some reports done. That's another thing that I'm not involved with. There's 2 commissioners on that committee. along with several others. So outside of that, I don't, I'm not able to go to those meetings and hear what's going on with the actual courthouse repairs. Renee, every once in a while, briefs me on big night reports, but I don't have any updates on that. Jail's been kind of a mess. Sheriff and I have worked together. There was a meeting that was set up. It didn't go through my office. I felt like I should be a part of that meeting. Sheriff agreed, sent a couple of emails out. And so we did get to sit, we had a Zoom with Gordon Tomasetti, Commissioner Lissy was on that Zoom call. And so I feel like that we made some movements. There was another meeting that was scheduled, and then another commissioner was supposed to jump on, and it wasn't time enough to post a potential quorum. So I don't know if that meeting ever happened. I was invited to it, but again, I wasn't going to violate Open Meetings Act. Sheriff shaking his head. That meeting did not happen. So not sure where we are on that. I know that Sheriff and I have talked. Jeff let me know that we needed to get some people in to start doing some exploration for the foundation. And so I'll ask him a little bit. Going to Precinct 3, Commissioner Rosales has reached out to the office a couple of times about annex things. I think that he's waiting on him and Mike Foster. I'm not sure if y'all got together on that yet, but Commissioner Rosales has been working with Mike Foster, I believe, on trying to figure out what's going on with water. Obviously, we've had some water problems with this building for a very long time. We put a new roof on. We're still having some issues with water cooling. Renee and I met with the A-Alert, the roofing company that did this, and there was a guarantee that came with, hey, we're not going to have this anymore. We're still having it. So Renee and I met with him, and they're trying to figure that out, as well as the water underneath. And so I think that Commissioner Rosales and myself, we've agreed that part of it is the drainage that comes off of here, and the simple solution to not spend a whole bunch of money, but potentially fix the problem is doing some cutting of this concrete and do some drainage. And then in Precinct 4, Commissioner Giesler, he keeps me posted on what's going on with the as far as moving forward with the JP's office over there. I think we have an agenda item on it today. He asked me if I would co-sponsor it, if I wanted to co-sponsor it. So I appreciate that. I think we're going out RFPs.
We'll be putting your keys up to this year. Either later this week or first of next week, pending for improvement.
So that's my updates. If you want more detailed updates, email traffic, things like that, I'm happy to provide it. You're welcome to come by my office, the public, any elected officials that have questions on any of that. But that's where we are. Those are my updates, and the court is welcome to comment. And Mr. Gaston, if you want to.
I don't have a whole lot of updates for the public right now. I have a vested interest in this building as well. This is part of our responsibility to take care of this building. And I'm concerned about the water intrusion as well. I know Commissioner Rosales has been talking to Mr. Foster, and they've got plans we're waiting to hear on those. So I was trying not to take over on that. I was more concerned about the roof, because when the roof was put on, they told us we guarantee you a watertight seal. And first big rain we got after that, it had water dripping off the ceiling in multiple offices. So every time I hear about a water leak in this building, I come over here and I try to look at it so I know where it's at, trying to get an understanding. I've been talking with Renee about it. He's working with the roofing company. They're looking to propose a solution to us. I hope that resolves it. I'm concerned, maybe it's a humidity issue. I don't know if dehumidifiers on a larger scale would help us. But we do need a solution. It just seems like every other day there's something. A lot of HVAC lines the other day were dripping water from them. It's like I'm bashing my head against the walls. I can't imagine what everybody else here is like. I've only been trying to help fix this for 6 months, so it's frustrating. But we're working to find that solution. As far as the EMS training facility in Kennedy, last court, we voted to approve the 100% drawings. Those were approved so that we could start getting bids on the actual cost of the building. We're still waiting to hear back on that. I'm concerned about the alleyway behind the property, where we will need to get permission to build our parking lot over the alleyway. And there's also a sewer line that runs under the property that no one was aware of ahead of time. I'm currently waiting on legal counsel input on how to proceed from those. Other than that, I have no other comments.
Thank you. We've, for, like Commissioner Lissie and myself, 8 years of, almost 8 years of dealing with this building. Commissioner Rosales, just a few more years than 8 on dealing with this building that we're sitting in today. It just seems like every time we turn our heads, it's just something else. And the whole D9 dozer project sounds better and better and better every day. So thank you, Commissioner Gattens.
All right, well, we'll start with the jail. Thomas City group, they needed a list of contractors to do some excavation work around the jail to do some inspections. They got that. The jail is in precinct 3. And I spoke to Commissioner Rosales, and he's going to, since it's in his precinct, he's going to take over the contact. And the service center in Falls City, architect came up with a site plan, just of the piece, and that's approved the site layout. And this week, sometimes, the first part of next week, they'll have a geotech engineer will be tested soil samples. That's where we're on that. Over the courthouse, FPC will be at the next court meeting to do a presentation. And then we'll need to discuss and vote on financing the next step of the project. That's where we are on that.
Okay, obviously y'all can see next door whenever, across the street, whenever you come in, the archive building is moving along. They're welding steel right now. I'm not sure how they're gonna get that sky track out of there. I know that Caesar has a plan, but it is buried on top of that slab right now, but I know that they have a plan to get out of there. We're rocking and rolling with that. You know, Caesar, I know that Commissioner Rosales, whenever we poured, I guess that's been about probably a little over a month and a half ago now, whenever we poured. I know he came Saturday. I came that Saturday morning after they had done the pour, so concrete looked good. Harry was extremely happy with the concrete. He actually said, he commented on the pre-slab inspection. He was like, my goodness, he said, I looked at some pre-pours the other day and he said, just the compaction on this soil pre-pour is incredible. It's gonna be an incredible slab. So, like I said, standing up steel, welding it together, and once they get all that welded up, that project will really start moving along. So you can see that. If you have questions on that, holler at me, Commissioner.
That's a good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Good job. On the annex on the square, which is this building, I've been meeting with Mike Foster. We're trying to get it on the agenda this time, but we didn't. It'll be on for the next time. And what we're going to do, what we're planning to do is on these sidewalks or tilting toward the building, we're just gonna cut. We're gonna cut on each one of them about 4 inches and chase the water out. And on this side right here, we're gonna start here on the low spot and we're gonna run, I think it's a 15-inch culvert. And we're gonna run it out to the center of the parking lot. So like a real simple fix. And we'll get all the water out from all the buildings. And he'll have the price on the, everything on the next agenda. I have a price already in mind, but I want to publicly say it.
Right.
Yeah, but he has one already and he threw out at me a roundabout. And it's a it's a price that Joe will be very happy with.
Good. Awesome. Thank you.
As far as the service center in precinct 4, obviously we worked on the environmental study. We're currently taking bids to clean up the property. Today I'll be asking to get an RFQ approved. Commissioner Lissie spoke on the courthouse, status of that. Other than that, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, like I said, court is available for questions individually. If you have questions on any of those projects, you kind of know where the commissioners that are involved with each of those projects are. Feel free to reach out to them. Obviously, I can give you any information that I have on any of them. However, I do not have not privy to all the information on a couple of those. So thank you, court. I appreciate y'all giving those updates, and we look forward to continue moving forward with these projects. I think it's wonderful for the county to keep doing that. So if there's no more discussion on item number 7, we'll move to item number 8, discuss and approve Fall City Public Library requesting a budget amendment line item transfer in the amount of $2,000 from line item 250-650-3102 with $1,000 to line item 250-651-4222 and the other $1,000 to line item 250-651-5900 due to the rising cost of books and rising costs due to tariffs on some of our program prizes. Donna had a family emergency, so she was not able to make it. She sent me an email yesterday. She's fine tabling this. If the court needs to hear more explanation from her, I don't have a problem. It's pretty self-explanatory. Rising cost of books and tariffs on some of the program prizes. So there's money. It's within her budget to do that line item transfer. So question, discussion from the court. I'm happy to entertain.
I have discussion,
Okay.
court, and I might need Tom's input here. My understanding is the line she wants to transfer from is for the county library system, and these funds would be transferred to the Fall City library system. The county library system is set up to take care of all county libraries. I don't think it would be wise to use funds that are supposed to help all the libraries for just one. All libraries were budgeted $10,000 this year for program budgeting. Fall City has spent $9,302.11. Karnes City has spent $3,578.11. Kennedy has spent $8,716.56, and Runge has spent $4,437.05. Books to be purchased were budgeted. Fall City was budgeted $28,531 and has spent $27,591.22. Karnes City was budgeted $38,493.26 and has spent $20,810.46. Kennedy was budgeted $38,713.91. They have spent $26,796.14. Runge was budgeted $20,000 and has spent $5,582.07. I just do not believe it is a wise use of funds to transfer it when the budget has already been expended. Other departments have not done so. My opinion.
Any other discussion from the court?
I didn't know those numbers, thank you very much.
We budget lots of money on books in the library system.
I didn't know that they were so close, so basically Fall City's right on the edge of spending all of their budget.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that, for whatever reason, they're right at the edge and the other ones aren't. They have a good reason for doing that. But I'm not really sure why. I don't get into the library or every office in so much in detail, but that was great. I do appreciate it. But I just believe that on my part, I'm okay with it. If they need another, what is it, $2,000?
1,000 for programs and 1,000 for books.
1,000 for books, right? I'm okay with it, but I do appreciate Commissioner. That was excellent, very, very well. I'm not sure if this is going to pass or not, but I'll make the motion to approve item number 8 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. I'm okay with it. Anybody opposed to it, Mr. Gratcher. Motion will carry 4-1. Okay, item number 9, discuss, approve, disapprove resolution designing authorized signatories for contractual and financial documents pertaining to the GLO Community Development Block Grant Mitigation. That is the DCBG-MIT Local Hazard Mitigation Plan Program, LHMPP, contract number 22-130-085-F183. Who wants to guess what that contract is? Kat does. She's not guessing. She's going to tell us. Kat's here.
Well,
on
this
behalf of
is
Lakers.
for your LMHPP, so, what this is going to do is authorize your signatory, so, what's in front of you? You have your documents? Okay, so, initially I thought it was online, but it is not. This is your LMHPP program, and this allows you to choose your contractual, signers for this program, as well as, your financial. So if you recognize that and agree with who has been chosen, then you can pass the resolution so we can move forward. Your LHNDP program is run by Jessica, and she is on a well-deserved vacation this week. So if you have any questions pertaining to the document, I could definitely help you. But as far as your LHNDP, I am not as well.
I lose track of them. Kat and I were on a Zoom call yesterday
Yes.
on another GLO on a couple of bridge projects that we're working on to try to save taxpayer dollars on a couple of county roads that we're kicking off right now. Wayne, did you raise your hand on this?
Yes, LMHPP, number one of the bridge projects are what I'm interested. Can you explain what LMHPP is? Because when it comes to the bridge projects, what I'm gonna ask when those come up is that we get the ability to review
Oh, absolutely.
interim
Yeah.
drawings, and we get the ability to inspect that work along with whoever we contract.
I'm happy to talk to you about that, where we are in that
But
process.
this is not this project.
This is not this
Thank
project.
you very much. That's what I need to know.
Yeah. This is for, trying to think what this
I
other
can help with the
project would be.
application. I'm very well, I can tell you all about the bridge project,
Good
where
deal.
we are in the status of that, but the LMHPP one. That one is, we just did applications on, so, this is a fairly new one.
Okay.
So, I wish I could-
All the abbreviations, sometimes we all get lost in them.
They get lost.
So LHMPP is Local Hazard Mitigation
Right.
Plan Program. And at this time, we're not aware of what the plan is to deliver this one.
Poor Kat.
I know. I thought this was the resolution for mine, so I was like, I should have filled in anything I know. But, this is a fairly new one. I know the applications, have been coming in, so.
Why don't we wait for Jessica or Judy to come back on this one? and
I would have done
she
some
can
deep
report
research,
for it
sorry.
and give me the information that everybody needs on this one.
Absolutely, yeah, because it's a fresh one. It's written.
Yeah. I don't want to table it until, for next meeting, because I'm not sure, but I will put it back on. We'll just take no action on this one.
Okay.
Thank you, Kat.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, item number 9, item number 10. Item number 10, discuss, approve, disapprove, to certify receipt of new funds from Texas General Land Office 24-065-115-E928. That is $2,197,900, and create a new bank account for its use. Budget amendment will be DA 2025-09. Tom Duke.
All right, good morning, court. All right, this is mostly for any new members of the court. So when we get a GLO grant, we're required to send the money to the contractors, either Langford, contractor, engineer, within 3 business days. So we received the payment back in June, and I just assumed it was for an existing grant that we already have, but after further investigation, talking to Kat, this is for the new GLO grant that was actually signed back in January by DocuSign. So what court have to do is they have to certify these funds whenever they are first aware of them and create a budget. So DocuSign was down on January the 8th, and then there was a kickoff meeting on February the 27th, basically. So we probably could have done it in February 27th. That's a cap question. I'm not sure when it's really was awarded. But this is just to create the budget for this grant, certify these funds were not in the budget when we adopted the budget last year. And as far as the creating a bank account, we're gonna, Maya and I are gonna talk to Kat afterwards. It does say in the requirements to create a new bank account, but we're thinking we can do it within our Texas class as a sub account. That way the funds are actually separate, not necessarily a whole separate checking account themselves. But that's what this agenda item is. And I asked Kat in the future if there are new funds coming in to keep me informed so I can present items like this to court in the future. So the breakdown for this particular grant on the grant, and it's a brand new fund I established, which is Fund 708. The grant administration is $155,832. The engineering fees are $259,949.74. The construction costs are $1,732,998.26. Acquisition cost is $29,120. And environmental cost of $20,000. So that's a total of the $2,197,900. And as Mr. Giesler asked, these are bridges that they're going to be working on. And
Hopefully.
yes, okay. And they're identified when y'all presented it to the state. Y'all identify, judge identify what roads and all that.
120, County Road 127 and County Road 184, the two identified. We had a third, that
207.
207 that we kind of kicked that one off, but
Not yet.
not yet.
We have to do some postings and some follow-up, but it's
See
in
if you can
discussion.
get an estimate for it. Okay. Just let me know, because if we do not end up doing these grant funds, I need to go ahead and program it into my plan.
Correct.
Next year.
Correct, yeah.
Make a motion to approve item number 10 as presented. I'll second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Tom. Kat, again, thank you. Item number 11, discuss, approve, disapprove, transfer of $10,000 from GL number 100-510-4500 building repair to GL 100-510-4552 electrical/air conditioning repairs for future repairs in this year's budget. Renee's going to explain what those future repairs look like.
Good morning, Court. Yes, I had some extra money in different buildings that have been going on. Luckily, they have money set aside for the courthouse, so all the work that we've been doing in the courthouse has its own GL. Same thing for the square, has its own GL. But for this, so I took a little bit, I want to take some money out of the building repairs to put into my electrical/AC repairs, because I already got close to expenditures, and so with the future repairs, meaning that I got a unit in the Riddle building which needs to be brought down out of the attic. It's getting worse and worse every year. How it's condensation built on the air handler itself, and it's just getting, it's time to bring it down. And I talked to the judge a while back about this, and he said it was okay, but I don't have the funds in there to do that. And then a motor went out in one of the other units in the same building, so I got to replace the motor in there. And so that'll leave me with $5,000 left in case something else happens. I'll have that to get me to the end of the year. So I'd like to move some money around just to keep me safe and able to pay for any kind of expenditures on any other building, the AC or electricals, or that would go.
We do the best that we can whenever we're budgeting for repairs on buildings, and the county has, obviously, most of y'all know, we have lots of buildings, and a lot of our buildings are some older buildings, and Renee does a great job trying to budget specifically for each one of those buildings, but unfortunately, we can't predict whether that air conditioner is going to go out or
Like
this
this
or
year,
thing is going to happen.
This year I picked a project to do, like I wanted to redo all the lights in the executive, which is 95% done. And that's almost done. So after that's done, then I want to start working on remodeling on the inside of the tax building, which the vault needs, and the tile, and the lobby needs. there's some stuff in that building that still needs to be done, so, now I got enough money to do that, but the AC's where I'm having some issue problems, because we had to replace the unit on 111, Brownie Street, which is the shop / records building, and that system just totally dumped on us, so that took $9,000 out of our, not like my budget for $20,000. And so that's, and then all the little things add up, lights, repairs, all electrical repairs, I've done filters, everything, so, preon leaks, repair here and there, all kinds of stuff, so I'm trying to expand that budget this year.
Thank you, Renee. Mr. Beatrick, if you have.
My office is right next door to Renee's, and I get to talk to him about these concerns frequently. And just last week, we both realized that the air conditioner in the building we share, one of them had failed, the blower motor had failed. It seems like it's a perpetual problem that he's trying to deal with.
Those units are kind of old, I don't know how long they've been in that little building, but I know, and Judge and I talked about that, we don't own that building, but we have that building, so.
We get that building is on, I don't even know if we have any type of contract lease, and it's with the prison, TDCJ owns that building, and it is ours to use as long as we maintain that building. It's, that's kind of scary to me, because what if TDCJ decides one day, hey, we want our building back, and we don't have a contract with y'all, so we need to get out in 30 days. I mean, that could happen. So, when Renee and I talk about repairs and moving offices in and out of there, I just keep an eye on that, because, how much money do we want to put into something that is not ours?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
we need to continue operation.
Yes.
And make sure that
When we put EMS in there, we did the bathroom, we put a bathroom in there, a shower in there.
EMSs, we have our EMS station.
Did the kitchen.
Substation in there.
Updated.
Commissioners are in there, our VSO is in there, Renee's in there, so, it's a great, it's great to be able to have that to use, but again, we don't want to put, tons of taxpayer money into something that's not ours, but we also want to be able to continue operations.
It's not really a money pit, but we still got to put it
We hadn't had to pay the rent.
We have not had a bank unit or mortgage or anything like that.
So this extra $10,000 will help just to keep me out of the rent.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
if memory serves me correct, sometimes I'm wrong.
You would remember, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We discussed this before, and we bumped into this before, and I want to say there's a contract somewhere on there, maybe Jeremy, we can look it up on there. This came up when we were gonna do the EMS remodeling in there. This came up on us putting so much money into it. If we could look back on that one, we did something at that time. I just don't remember what we did, because I can't remember the number that we put into it, but this same thing, discussion, we discussed when we did that remodeling. So I don't know at that time if we did a contract with them or something. But if we could look back on something like that. I want to say there's something written that we did.
Good. I know that Shelby, Commissioner Dupnick had a contact whenever when he worked for TDC. He had a contact that he tried to get a hold of the warden that was out there, but the wardens had changed. So it's still kind of gray, but yes, Jamie, if you can look
And
in.
what year are you saying that was?
I can call Shelby after the meeting.
Okay.
I'll call Shelby, he'll probably remember more of it.
Do you remember when we met you guys in over there?
We've been in their building since I've been here, and I've been here since 2007, so.
Why, do you remember something that we've ever done on that
I
one?
had to check with the juvenile department and see.
That
if they-
juvenile used to be in there for a long time.
Yeah, Melissa Padron might kind of have a better memory than any of us.
Because they were the first ones to occupy it.
Yes.
We
Well,
don't build this until-
the court went in there whenever they were redoing the courthouse until this was built.
I'll call Melissa and I'll call
Commissioner Hill
Shelby.
was in there
Yeah.
too.
And Barbara Shaw was here, it was okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
The courtroom was there and.
yes.
All I know is the real building.
Yeah.
Or we can also reach out to Melissa, but also reach out to Neva Schmidt, because
Yeah.
they were the
Yeah.
first ones in there, and it was something,
I know.
and TDCJ came and they did all the construction, everything they're remodeling for. So maybe Neva may have some
Okay.
insight to pinpoint a date, like a, or a year.
I'll check with Eva too. Anyway, we're getting way far in the weeds on, actually owning this building, so, we need, if there's any more discussion on this.
I have a question. Renee, we talked about the charges to the air conditioner over at my office that went against that old building that had, the old building GL that has, building repair GL that has no money in it because we budgeted it over years. Is this gonna take care of that so we can get the negative off the books, or maybe for Tom? That way, Tom may just make an adjustment. at the end of the year.
No, that doesn't have anything to do with that, Wayne. That would need to be brought back to court for something. This
Okay,
is
so I
for
mean-
future repair.
That's fine, I just wanna make sure that honestly, it was applied to a road and bridge fund without my signature. I just wanna make sure we're gonna have it. Everybody knows that I didn't sign off on it, but Renee needed it, so as long as we're good, I'm good.
He's talking about the repairs at the new
Yes, sir.
road and bridge, the condenser, basic couple motors.
Correct.
Make a motion to approve item number 11 as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, is discuss, approve, disapprove the salary and employee policy committees recommended an update to the current STEP program to address the 3% cost of living increase received the fiscal year 2023 and 2024 for employees that transfer/promote. The following attachment is a proposed change. Elaine and myself and Commissioner Geisler, Jamie, county clerk, was in the salary committee. Tom was there, Ida was there, Casey was there, Sheriff was there, probably missing one. Scott was there. But we met a couple weeks ago. Whenever we put the STEP program together, we knew that there could be some hiccups here and there that we would have to address going forward. This is one of those things that just kind of didn't fall through the crack, but whenever somebody transfers or wants to take another position with another department, we needed to just clarify what happens with that 3-4% that COLA raise to make sure that those people do not get docked. So, Elaine?
Yes, so what happened in 2022, we set all of our starting rates of pay. And in 2023, October 1st, it was approved to give a 3% increase for every employee that was here. We did not adjust the starting rate of pay when we did that. So in October 2024, with the new budget year, everyone that was hired through the year of 23-24 received a 3% increase to bring them to that same amount as the existing workers. We implemented the STEP program October 1st, 2024, but the way the STEP program was written, anybody that promotes or transfers doesn't get to include that 3% increase in pay that was given the 2 years before. So it was something that was looked at, reviewed, and both committees had agreed to go ahead and make an amendment, if commissioners approve, to go ahead and include that 3% to be carried with them, like we carry their years of service if they transfer. We'd like to include that 3% to carry with them as well.
Thank you, Elaine. Any discussion from the court? Questions on that?
I met with Elaine previously, and she's worded it in ways that I can understand, and it's basically sounded like if someone worked in one department for 10 years and transferred to another department, because this wording was failed to get put into the program,
Right.
it would basically dock them, and we don't want our employees to be punished for just changing departments. We want everyone to carry over. We want to keep people happy for working with the county. So
It's a wealth of knowledge. When they do transfer, it is a wealth of knowledge that we continue to keep. They may transfer to a like position.
Right.
But because the way it's structured right now, they would actually lose some pay.
We used to, whenever we have these individual, it didn't happen often, but when it did happen and somebody was transferring, it would always come to the court And the court would always approve, yes, we're going to not dock that person before moving to this position. This will just codify it into our policy, and we don't have to continue doing that to each case.
We've had about 8 positions already get faced with this just in this fiscal year since the changes happened.
Any other discussion from the court?
Those 8 positions, they're not getting that 3%, is that what you're saying?
No, they have that 3% removed when they transfer.
But they will once we approve this.
Right. Thank you, Mike.
And that's even if they go to a higher paid position, a higher paying position, or they'll either one, they want to transfer the 3%.
Yes, we don't want to take that whenever they transfer, like the 8 lost that. We don't want them to lose that because they already got it. Then they're transferring, and so it wasn't stated in a way where that 3% would carry. And we just want to make sure that that 3% carries with them.
Because they've already historically had.
Yes, they had it.
So they're gonna move over, so don't lose it.
Correct.
Don't lose it.
Yeah.
Now, does that 3% stay, say, if they go from, just say, a $70,000 one to a $40,000 one, so they're gonna get that 3% on the $70,000 one, but they're gonna enter into a $40,000 pay?
You mean as if they were taking?
If they were taking a lower, which most people don't, but you never know.
Right.
But so they're gonna be getting 3% for the 70,000, but entering into a 40,000 one?
No, they would be getting 3% based on the 40, because if you're moving into a lower position, you're taking the 3% with you, but it would be based on the starting rate of pay for that
I
position.
got you.
Mhm.
That was one of the shortest salary committee meetings that we've ever had. I think it was like 30 minutes. Any other discussion from the court? Questions? Entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve item number 12 as presented.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Elaine. Item number 13, discuss approve, disapprove transfer of $11,346 from GL number 142-271-2750 contract election funds to cover unforeseen expenses to GL number 100-407-4358 election expenses. Beth?
Good morning, Court. So this morning I come to you to propose this transfer for funds. Back when we did the budget, I budgeted for the May election as one election for in regards to programming and testing and all the logic and accuracy testing. However, it was 6 elections. Each entity has to be done and programmed as an individual election, so I get billed separately, not as one election from our programmers, but each separately. So, for example, in November of 2024, that big, great general election we had, that was one election. That cost me just over $2,000 in programming for the May election, and that over about $22,000. So it's a difference. Yes, you think it's a smaller election, but the expenses sometimes can be more for that election than it is for that big general election. So as far as for programming. So when we looked at this, I am a little bit over when I did my budgeting, and so we looked at where, I met with Tom, and where we can come up with these funds. Now, just to let you know, these funds that I'm asking for the transfer, we actually build entities. So they turn around, they pay us for this service that I will be paying out to the vendors. So it's not a cost on the county for these expenses. We do get reimbursed 100% for the entities.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 14 as presented.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed?
You said 14, sir, is that item
Is
13?
it 13? I'm sorry.
13.
Let me do it.
Thank
I'll
you.
make the motion to approve item number 13.
Motion and a second. Still stands. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, discuss, approve, disapprove, discuss, and take action on applying for the 2025 HABA election security grant and resolution for same that mentioned last week. This is another one of those grants that, we talked about the booth grant that we got didn't fall in our lap, but it's, the state will make these funds available like last minute. And what they don't realize, well, they probably do realize, but nothing in county government or any government happens fast. I mean, you know that our court meets every 2 weeks. And so, you know, there's deadlines. And so sometimes if this would have fallen just a few days later and I wasn't able to get it on the agenda, if that had found it, I wasn't able to get it on the agenda, we potentially lose out on whatever these grant funds are. So, anyways, we're not speaking anymore. Go ahead, Beth.
That was a good intro. Thank you, Judge. So yes, he is right. This is funds that the state has awarded. The Secretary of State has given all of the elections officials a certain amount of money that they have. They have calculated a certain amount that they would think each county, and they have a figure. So we go into the computer and we put in what amount they think we would be eligible for. So they gave us, for the federal share for this grant is $32,500. However, it is a matching grant where we would have to also be required to match $6,500. Now, originally the grant was to close on June 31st, but they realized it was too last minute and they didn't have enough time for the counties, so they extended it to July 11th. Literally on that 31st, they decided to do that. So that allowed us to give us this time to do this. What this grant will be covering, and you guys should have what explanation was given to the Secretary of State. I'm going to be looking at what we would cover as security of election related property. That is one area that we need and can use these funds for greatly within the elections office. So I have met with Judge Hetke on regards to where I think these funds would be ideally spent and would be needed, and I also met with Commissioner Beatrice. So these items we're looking at would also solve something that was brought up at our last commissioners meeting, was where we're going to put the box trailer for the elections office. So we would be able to, the plan, hopefully, if it all works out, is to get a storage unit that has a carport that we can have the retention records for the 22 months retention in there. That's required, and it would be separate from anything else that's election related, equipment, other supplies, other materials, that we currently store them together. And then also have a place for the box trailer, and it would be all together. And it would be put over here, close by. So that is the ultimate plan. But if that falls through, we can still have a way of using those funds if we do get this grant. Now the grant, like I said, they have a certain amount. Now if less people apply for it, guess what? We've just increased our grant. But they're saying that probably the minimum we would get would be the $32,500.
With the match from the county match of 6,500, is it so would the total amount be 39,000?
Yes.
Okay.
And, yes, and so then that's how much the project that we would have to be spent on. And then if we didn't spend that, then of course then we would have to send what we did not spend back. Now, on the required matching, if the grant amount goes up, then our matching does go up as well. So they have that figured in on the percentage, so that would change as well.
And then that would just be addressed if that did happen, we would just
have to go
address
back
that
to
in court.
Yes, but just to let you know, in case something does change, that you're not getting blindsided with that.
Any discussion, questions from the court?
Yeah, guys, thank you for jumping on this. Help save taxpayers money. It's something we need. We need a solution on where to store our elections trailer. It has to be moved soon.
August.
I talked with Beth about it. Her plans were, I like the plan. We would have a slab constructed out here behind this building, have the shed put there. We could insulate the storage room that would allow her to relocate the records that need to be relocated already. We could then install security systems there to protect those records. So I think it's a great plan. Glad you're on top of it. And I will make a motion to approve item 14 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Beth. Item number 15, discuss / take possible action, proposal by precinct 4 commissioner to issue requests for qualifications, RFQs to provide services for the design and construction of a new Karnes County Precinct 4 Service Center facility to be located in Rome, Texas. Mr. Giesler.
Judge, Commissioners, as I said earlier, I'll be trying to go out for RFQ here later this week, next week. I've still got to run it by Ms. Hoppy over there, and but in order to keep things moving along, I'd like to want to present the support and get the approval to go ahead and proceed.
I have a question. In the past, we've discussed that the Precinct 2 Service Center and Precinct 4 Service Center would kind of be a mirrored facility. Have we already done this for Precinct 2 Service Center?
It's the same exact process, basically. Whenever Precinct 2 was initially kicked off, it was presented as an option to do that. I just felt it'd be better just to go ahead and do it individually, just to keep everything out in the open for everyone. It would make sense to save a little bit of money. We can still use the same drawings if we select the architect is selected again. But to answer your question.
Commissioner, if I may, your scope is slightly different as well.
That's correct.
Yeah, there'll be some difference in, obviously, the property that we own now in Roby is different from the property that we own there in Hall City, so there'll obviously be some differences, but, yeah.
Yeah, that's a question.
Wes, you mentioned about the same plans, so this would be the same plans that are reviewed with Commissioner Lissy in regards to, and we made an edit on a change on one of the doors so that we have the 2 doors, so we have entrance and exit.
Beth is just
in the
asking
voting area.
for election purposes to make sure that should these get built, hopefully they do, should they get built, that they can house us for elections and meet the elections guidelines that we have to have from the state.
Absolutely.
Be
Yes,
compliant.
I'll be checking with you before, everything's signed off on.
We'll both be compliant, poll places, and we same place.
And Judge, as well as you know, most of these places, as long as they're the same square footage, they can move around the insides pretty much anywhere they want. It saves them all the same amount as long as materials are the same. I'll make a motion to approve item 15 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? No. Motion carries. Item number 16, we have our consent agenda. Within our consent agenda, this meeting, we have our reports from our Justice of the Peace Precincts 1 and 3 and our maintenance department. We also have budget amendments, PA 2025-09 and 10. Those listening outside of courtroom, listening online, those budget amendments are for the grant that we spoke about, that Tom spoke about earlier, dedicating those funds for $2,197,900. And then the other one was the transfer for $22,692 for the elections.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda along with the budget amendments.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Item number 17 is discussing the items for the consent agenda that we need to act on. Are there any? Hearing none, we will move to item number 18, updates from our commissioners, starting with Commissioner Beatrick from Precinct 1.
Morning. I joined Commissioner Lissy in a meeting with representatives from Conoco to learn more about their plans to move uranium mill fillings from the Slick Wilcox site in DeWitt County to their Conquista facility in Karnes County. I wanted to talk about a few key points I took from the meeting and try to answer the most common questions I am hearing. Some of the information that is circulated is from an outdated 2017 report that has caused some confusion in the community. One example is the location of the new disposal cell on the Conquista site. The old report had this proposed disposal on the west side of the property near the fence line with a neighboring landowner. The 2025 report shows the disposal site will be on the northern portion of Conoco's property, away from adjoining properties. Copies of the latest report have been placed at all Karnes County public libraries for public inspection. The most common question I hear is, why is Conoco digging up the tailings in DeWitt County just to bury them in Karnes? To put it simply, the Slick Wilcox site was not designed to be a long-term storage disposal, and it does not meet the legal requirements for the permanent storage of mill tailings waste. When the laws were written, there were no provisions for grandfathering the facility. Now Conoco is required to relocate these materials to a licensed long-term storage facility, and Conquista is the only site they have access to. There are concerns about groundwater contamination at the Conquista facility. According to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, there is no contamination of the groundwater at the Conquista site. There's another disposal site under the DOE control, the Falls City site, that does have contaminated groundwater due to improperly plugged boreholes from the 50s and 60s. I believe the proximity of the Falls City site to the Conquista site has caused confusion around groundwater contamination. There are concerns about contaminated soils in the bar ditches along 791. Conoco will be removing material from the bar ditches north of the Conquista site. Residents are asking, why stop at the fence line if there's contamination? What we were told was that the soil was being removed because it was included in the overall scope of the project, but that the radiation levels measured in the area were not above the naturally occurring. I asked what an acceptable level of measured radiation would be, and was told that there was not an established level because the amount of naturally occurring radiation varies throughout the country. When Conoco completes the remediation at the Conquista site, they will turn it over to the Department of Energy with long-term management plans and funding to cover the management cost. I would still like more information on how Conoco plans to transport these materials, but at the time of our meeting, those plans were still being developed. Commissioner Lissy and I encouraged Conoco to conduct an informal town hall style meeting for all of us to meet with their representatives and ask all our questions. They are planning to do so before the TCEQ meeting in September. I had an organization reach out to me asking if the county had a nuisance ordinance related to how high your grass can be. For more context, one business was having a problem with mice at their location and was concerned that it was coming from the tall grass at the neighboring business. I met with the manager of the company that had tall grass to discuss the situation, and they said they would work on getting the grass cut. I would like to encourage everyone to be neighborly and consider how we are affecting those around us. To the best of my understanding, Karnes County does not have a nuisance ordinance that regulates the maximum height of your grass, and I would not be in favor of creating one. I don't believe we need any more laws governing the use of our private property. I continue to volunteer on Wednesdays mornings at the Karnes County Christian Thrift Center. The Thrift Center will be closed for the next 2 weeks while volunteers are on vacation. I met with residents about their concerns with the food bank and the Conoco's Conquista project. In May, the Kennedy City Council provided Kennedy ISD notice that it will not be renewing their contract to provide school resource officers. Last month, Kennedy's superintendent reached out to me asking if the sheriff's office could provide an SRO, as they do for Falls City ISD. I have met with the sheriff, Kennedy City manager, the county attorney, and the county judge to discuss the situation, and I'm working to coordinate a meeting between the ISD and the sheriff's office. The security upgrades to the tax office have enhanced the security of our county employees, and other departments expressed a desire for similar improvements to their office. I visited with those departments to discuss their needs, and have asked Renee to talk with the Historical Commission about their requirements to obtain a work permit. I had residents reach out with road condition concerns on County Road 152 and 153. I drove out, inspected the roads, and met with Road and Bridge. Crews went to work on the problem right away, and our residents asked me to share their gratitude for the improvement of the road conditions. Juvenile probation office has a Chevy Tahoe that's been disabled and parked behind the courthouse for a year. After verifying that the vehicle had previously been declared surplus, I have moved that vehicle to the sheriff's office so that it can be sold at the next surplus auction. Last week, I attended the groundbreaking ceremony for VTX1 broadband and then joined the pre-construction meeting. The $51 million project will include 3 fixed wireless towers and about 500 miles of underground fiber optic cables to provide broadband internet service to Karnes County residents. Aspen Utility has been contracted to install the fiber lines and will start bringing their horizontal drilling rigs to the area shortly so that this project can be completed by December 2026. Yesterday, my family and I worked food bank distribution at the showgrounds where 121 local families were served. And my heart hurts for our neighbors suffering after the flooding of July 4th. There are several local groups organizing fundraisers and donation centers. The Karnes City Athletic Department has set up a donation station at the football stadium today from 10 to 2. The City of Kennedy will have a $10 brown bag special fundraiser on Thursday from 11 to 2. The brown bag will include a hamburger, chips, and a drink. The City of Kennedy has also set up a donation drop-off point at the City Hall in Kennedy. Donations are set to be delivered on Friday. Kirk County advised that they do not need any more clothing donations. You can also leave donation items at JP3's office through July 10th. I just encourage everyone to hug your kids extra tight tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for that update. Just touch on the VTX groundbreaking that we had was a major success. I appreciate Commissioner Beatrick coming and supporting. Sheriff was there. We had a couple of the JPs were there, so I appreciate everybody coming. It was a wonderful kickoff with VTX and Aspen and all the groups that are setting some roots in Karnes County. They want to be here. For those that were there, they're going to the cafe. They're picking up lunches for some of the folks, and they're wanting to get involved in the community. So VTX has been. I talked to Mayor Strauss, and he worked with them whenever he was back with REA and Karnes Electric, and he said they're a great company to work with, and so super excited about that. And on the donations, obviously with the outpouring of support not only from Karnes County but from all over, we've got to be careful not to go get in the way. There are trained folks that are out doing search and rescue. There's tons of debris. Folks, if y'all watched any of it, it's unimaginable, I think, for us down in Karnes County, the scope of work that is going to be going on there. There are donation sites of your choice that, whether it's Samaritan's Purse, there's churches up there, there's fire departments. Make those donations in that way and let those folks distribute. They're set up to do that type of thing. So I encourage you to do it that way. And if you have questions, if you need more information on that, on those type of organizations, please reach out to me. I'm happy to sit and assist with that. So, Commissioner Lissy, Precinct 2.
Hey, first of all, I'd like to thank all the county employees. County Road 254 is paved, it looks really nice. And County Road 253, design and drainage is being started and have been delayed a little bit by the wet weather, but we're not going to complain about the wet weather. County Road 207 construction is started. Town Hobson is work in progress. Shredding will be started as soon as it dries up. Grass and weeds are growing, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. And as Commissioner Beatrick said, we had a meeting with Conoco, and now I've been in contact with Mr. Robert McVeigh with the State Representative Ryan Hinn's office about the Conoco project. We're waiting for some answers for TCEQ. Also had a meeting with Glenn Strauss and Jenny, their environmental department head. got some questions answered and waiting on some other questions to be answered. And Conoco will be having a town hall meeting in Karnes City. The date is to be announced, and September the 22nd, we'll have the town hall meeting at the Falls City, TCEQ, and other state agencies. And I guess that's it. God bless America, and like everybody else that says, keep the people in the hill country that are affected by the flood in the prayer.
Commissioner Rosales, precinct 3.
Some drilling items dropped in County Road 305 last week, so I called TCEQ and I called Homer. The road bridge, we moved it to the edge of the road. The TCEQ evaluated on Tuesday, July the 1st. I'm waiting a call back from them. They told me they would get back with me. If it was real serious, I don't know if it was contaminated or not yet, but I will be finding out. I'm gonna give them a call back after court, since they haven't called me back. County Road 360 and 400 will begin road construction July the 14th. Weather permitting, drainage in Gillette we were working on has been completed, and the second course should be completed by the end of this week. I met with Mike Foster again regarding the annex building, and that's all I have. Thanks.
400 is the road that we built, that dead end road out there on that lake, right?
That's correct.
Commissioner Geisler?
So did quite a bit of work trying to get the project kicked off, service center, and go through the processes of that. Reached out to quite a few people. I had a lot of folks reach out to me about burn ban, about just different things going on in the county, especially the festivities there this past weekend, running. I know the road construction is continuing on. I know they were doing a lot of work out there. Bridges are starting to kick off those projects. That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you. Item number 19, we have our report from just our tax assessor collector this morning.
Good morning, Judge and Court.
Good morning.
In June of 2025, on our county M&O, the current month to date was $85,319.81. The current year to date was $29,108,977.44, with 98.63% collected. We're doing a little bit lower than we did last year at this time. Last year on June the 30th, it was 98.88% collected. When I left the office this morning, it was 98.87. So we're doing
that far off.
we're just a little bit lower than we were last year. The delinquent month to date was $2,143.90. The delinquent year to date was $419,144.16 with 20.97% collected. The the INS, the county INS, delinquent month to date was $6.43. The delinquent year to date was $1,667.63 with 13.43% collected. The county-wide road and bridge, the current month to date was $14,514.93. The current year to date was $3,599,879.09 with 98.63% collected. The delinquent month to date was $375.51. The delinquent year to date was $69,205.89 with 20.05% collected. At the end of this month, on July the 25th, the CAD, God willing, we have the value certified, and then we will start on the adoption process.
Yay. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, item number 20, discuss/acknowledgement of personnel changes, all departments throughout the county, new hires in the sheriff's office. We have a new admin assistant, and in our HR department, Bianca is here with us today. Welcome, Bianca. She's the new human resource assistant. No promotions, transfers, or reassignments, resignations and terminations. And we have one jailer in the sheriff's department and one case manager. No retirements. We are currently hiring, not anymore, for emergency management coordinator. I got that out. We got that out the other day. It's an offer letter. Super important position. Obviously, emergency management is on lots of folks' minds with what's happened up in Kerr County. So it's been a long process, but I appreciate Casey and Scott sitting and interviewing with me. Those two gentlemen have tons of experience, boots on the ground in emergency management. So we do have an offer letter out to that person. Facility security officer, still need a couple of those. Karnes Wilson Juvenile Probation Department still has the same 4 attendance specialist. HHSC administrator, that is a part-time position. Prevention specialist and a ropes facilitator. Road and bridge department needs a couple of equipment operators, 1 and 2. Sheriff's department is looking for an admin assistant, still another one, potentially. If you're interested, call the sheriff or call me. Not anymore. Not anymore. Okay. Scratch that one off. Sheriff's department also detention officers, which are jailers. Dispatcher, mental health officer / patrol deputies as well, and the tax office is looking for a clerk part-time. And then we will move to item number 21, payment of bills.
All right, Court, the total bills for today are $574,871.52, which are light again. General fund is $194,291.94. The two large items there is the EMS billing for the architects, that's $87,937.50. And then our yearly subscription for Microsoft licenses is $47,450. Road and bridges total for their two funds is $379,049.55. Jumping back to the EMS billing, so everyone kind of knows what we paid to date. After paying today, the architects will be paid $262,500, plus they also bill us for their mileage, which is within the contract of $648.95. So what we have to pay them is $87,500, which is for the bidding, which y'all approved last time, and then $70,000 for construction administration.
A couple of questions I noticed on first page out of 409, which is non-departmental. Bearcom got hit us four times, 3815 out of contingency, 5 times, and NTM recognition out of contingency.
Yes, I believe Court, y'all approved to pay for those radios that were from the previous.
Radios,
yes,
okay, those
yeah.
are Bearcom radios.
Yeah, y'all approved it, we just hadn't paid until this quarter. Then I got that $2,100 credit for us also off that bill.
Clarification.
What was the portable refrigeration, the twice?
Which one, sir?
On the first page there, it's just right underneath.
Under the Bearcom?
Yes,
Underneath Bearcom.
Strat fund, one of them was from
Strat
Strat
fund,
fund, and one was from the EMT.
We receive monies from the state, and then he's allowed to spend, y'all certify the monies when they come in, and he sets the budget to pay them.
Commissioner, that's for a new blood refrigerator, portable blood refrigerator for our captain's vehicle. So as the auditor already described, our EMTF reimbursement expense that we received in from Hurricane Beryl, as well as our annual trauma funds from STRAC, were utilized to pay for that expenditure. So the $15,000 and some change is for the device itself. It's a autonomous blood refrigeration unit that makes, from a COLA compliance perspective, makes life a lot easier, and it's a more safeguarded way of storing our blood products. And it gives us more opportunity to carry more blood products than just the one we have right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. That's all I noticed, Commissioner Beatrick. I'm going to look at you, None?
I already asked my question.
Awesome. Okay, any other questions on the bills? Motion to approve?
I move we approve payment.
I'll second. Okay, motion and second. All those in favor, right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Item number 22, acknowledge Commissioners Court will meet on July 22nd, 2025, 9 o'clock in the morning, right back here in the Karnes County Multi-Purpose Room at 210 West Calvert, Suite 150, Karnes City, Texas, 78118. Item number 23 is motion to adjourn. Is there one?
I move we adjourn.
All right, second.